है wedlock is a bond between individuals where they have their own space and make marriage very beautiful by more love rather than force। तो बात बात ये हुई कि हम फोर्स नहीं इसमें कर सकते। अगला अगला पॉइंट ये आता है कि मैरिज है क्या। मैरिज इज नथिंग बट ए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन टू पार्टीज दैट लीगलाइजेज सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स। ये बात तो तय है ना कि ये लीगल लीगल इंटरकोर्स का लीगलाइज फॉर्म है सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स का। अब आता है पॉइंट के मैरिटल रेप। जो क्वेश्चन आज हमने जो पॉइंट आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं वो ये है कि मैरिटल रेप इज नथिंग बट सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स बिटवीन मैरिड कपल्स विदाउट द वाइफ्स कंसेंट। यही बात हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं ना कि वाइफ की कंसेंट नहीं है तो मैरिटल अगर इंटरकोर्स हुआ तो वो मैरिटल रेप हुआ। इससे पहले हम ये क्वेश्चन करेंगे कि आर्टिकल 14 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या कहता है। आर्टिकल 14 कहता है कि दोनों को इक्वल राइट होना चाहिए, यही बात है ना। अगर इक्वलिटी होएगी तो मैरिटल रेप का सवाल हुआ तो ये जेन्युइन लगता है कि ये किसी की डिजायर के बिना उसके राइट्स को हम वायलेट कर रहे हैं। ठीक है। अगर आर्टिकल 14 के हम पहलू पे जाएंगे उसके बाद में अगर अगला क्वेश्चन उठता है कि सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स विद ए विमेन विदाउट हर कंसेंट इट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी रेप एंड इट इज टर्म्ड एज ए क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस। अब क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस इस केस में क्यों नहीं है। बात तो ये है कि जो विमेन एक्टिविस्ट है वो इसको कह रहे हैं कि ये क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस होना चाहिए। बट ये क्यों नहीं इसमें आ रहा, उसका कारण ये है कि इम्पोर्ट टू रेप वेयर फ्रीक्वेंट लॉज आर मेड एंड अपडेटेड विद रिगार्ड टू इट। क्या क्या लॉज हमारे को मेंटेन किया। और सेक्शन 370 में एक दिल्ली गैंग रेप जब हुआ था उसके बाद में एक वर्मा कमेटी के फॉर्म हुई थी। वर्मा कमेटी ने ये कहा था कि मैरिटल रेप शुड बी इंक्लूडेड एज ए क्राइम अंडर सेक्शन 375 ऑफ इंडियन पिनल कोड। तो उनकी डायरेक्शंस को क्यों नहीं माना गया और क्यों उसकी उनकी डायरेक्शंस को नजरअंदाज कर दिया गया, इसके बारे में हम आज डिस्कस करेंगे। बात ये आती है कि 375 रेप क्या है। 375 जो जो डिमांड है विमेन एक्टिविस्ट की उसमें रेप की कंडीशंस क्या है। उसमें पेनिट्रेशन है सबसे पहले। पेनिट्रेशन ऑफ पेनिस है, आइदर इट इज इन ए वेजिना, आइदर इट इज इन ए माउथ और इट इज ए यूरेथ्रा। तो बात ये हुई कि इसमें आज आज ये पॉइंट डिस्कस करने वाले हैं हम कि ये पेनिट्रेशन ये है फोर्सिबली करी गई है या इट इज विलफुल। अगला क्वेश्चन आ गया कि अनइक्वल अनइक्विवोकल वॉलंटरी एग्रीमेंट है। मैरिज क्या है। अगर हमने एक मैरिज करी उसमें हमारे को इसमें ये है कि वर्बल और नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन है कि विलिंगनेस इन पार्टिसिपेट इन द स्पेसिफिक सेक्सुअल एक्ट। ये तो हमारी विलिंगनेस थी ना जब मैरिज हुई। मैरिज का सबसे पहला ही पार्ट ये है कि हमने विलिंगनेस उसमें दी है और ये हमारी विलिंगनेस है, ये इस एक पार्ट बनेगा। अगला क्वेश्चन उठा कि 375 अब मैरिज में ये इस पार्ट में क्यों ऐड किया जाए। सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स के मैटर में अगर 375 की डेफिनेशन को ऐड किया जाएगा तो हमारे सबके घर जो बिखर जाएंगे। बात बात ये आती है कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट इस बात को क्यों नहीं मान रहा है, वो ये कह रहा है कि अगर इंटरकोर्स हस्बैंड का वाइफ के साथ हो रहा है तो किन कंडीशंस में हम नहीं इसको मानेंगे। इन एक कंडीशन ये है कि अगर वाइफ की उम्र जो है 15 साल से कम होगी तब उसको नहीं मानेंगे। क्योंकि 15 साल से कम उम्र की जो वाइफ है उसको हम कह सकते हैं कि दैट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ रेप। बट अगर वाइफ की एज 18 इयर्स है तो सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स विदाउट द कंसेंट इज नॉट कंस्टिट्यूट एज रेप इन इंडिया। बात इसी कारण है क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट इस बात को नजरअंदाज नहीं कर सकती क्योंकि मैरिटल रेप जो है लिमिटेशन ऑफ एज में तो वाजिब है। और जब लिमिटेशन ऑफ एज बढ़ जाती है तो उसमें हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि 18 इयर्स की विमेन है और उसके उसके बाद में हस्बैंड के साथ उसने अगर उसने इंटरकोर्स किया तो हम उसको कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे कि ये फोर्सिबली करा गया था या ये इंटरकोर्स विलफुली करा गया था। क्योंकि अगर ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पे हम लोग हाईलाइट करेंगे तो ये है कि जैसे 498 ए का मिसयूज हो रहा है, ऐसे इस केस का भी इन केसेस में भी मिसयूज होगा। क्योंकि ये तो हम कह रहे हैं ना कि अगर हस्बैंड से आपने शादी करी है तो उसके पास वो लाइसेंस है, he has got the license to have sexual intercourse without her consent। ये तो कोर्ट मानती है ना कि हाँ भाई वो उसकी कॉन्सेंट के बिना वो इंटरकोर्स कर देगा, बट उसको मैरिज के हिसाब से उसमें उसको रेप नहीं माना जाएगा। अगला क्वेश्चन ये हुआ कि सेक्शन 14 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन 14 सेक्शन 14 में तो ये कह रहे हैं कि हम इक्वल राइट्स मिलने चाहिए। बट इक्वल राइट्स में अगर हम ये हमने जब मैरिज करी है तो हमने उसमें सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स करने की परमिशन भी दी है ना। एक कंडीशन में अगर वो 15 इयर्स से कम है तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि भाई हाँ ये नहीं है। अदरवाइज कोर्ट की निगाह में ये है कि आपने कंसेंसुअल सेक्स किया। केस में मैं बताना चाहूंगा, सुचिता श्रीवास्तव वर्सेस चंडीगढ़ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का केस था। उसमें उसने एक ये एलिगेशन लगा था कि राइट टू मेक चॉइसेस इन सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटी इज आल्सो इंक्लूडेड अंडर द राइट टू पर्सनल लिबर्टी विच इज पार्ट ऑफ आर्टिकल 21। अब ये इसको एक पॉइंट तो ये हो गया। अब एक पॉइंट और हो गया कि ये इसमें सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटीज के चॉइसेस भी हैं कि कौन से चॉइस पे इसको हम रेप मानेंगे, किसको हमने रेप नहीं मानेंगे। तो कोर्ट ने इसमें इसको कहा कि भाई आप डिग्निफाइड लाइफ में आपने जीनी है, तो हम क्या कोर्ट आपके बेडरूम के अंदर एंटर करे और आप क्या उसके उसके प्रूफ जो एविडेंसेस है कोर्ट में लेके आओगे। तो ये सब जो है एक वाइबल नहीं लगता। उसके बाद में अगला क्वेश्चन उठा कि whether wife is a property and whether the consent of wife is necessary at every time। अगला क्वेश्चन ये हो गया कि वाइफ प्रॉपर्टी तो नहीं है, ठीक है भाई नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है, बट फ्रॉड एंड मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन और क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए। यही यही एक पॉइंट है रेप में जो हम कंसीडर करते हैं कि इसमें फ्रॉड हुआ है, इसमें मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन जो फैक्ट है, इसमें क्वेश्चन है, दबाव के कारण कुछ हुआ है। बट अगला क्वेश्चन ये हुआ कि एज एवरीवन इज अवेयर ऑफ द सेरेमनी ऑफ मैरिज, it has its traces in all ages of the world, and so it cannot be created declared as the law against women, and according to article 21 of the constitution, every citizen is enabled to a right to life and personal liberty which also includes human dignity। अगला क्वेश्चन 21 में मैं लड़कियों के फेवर में जा रहा हूं कि हाँ भाई उनको लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी आर्टिकल 21 में आर्टिकल 21 में उनको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट है लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी का। तो बात अगला क्वेश्चन ये भी आया कि उसमें उनको इसमें एक्सेप्शन क्यों दी जाए। सेक्शन 375 ऑफ आईपीसी डील्स विद एक्ट्स दैट डू नॉट इनवाइट द टर्म रेप। रेप तो कहा ही नहीं जा सकता, वो कोर्ट ये कह रही है कि रेप इसमें सेक्शन 375 जो है मैरिटल रेप को हम कंसीडर ही नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि ये आपकी कंसेंसुअल एक्टिविटी है और इसको हम ये नहीं कह सकते। दूसरी बात ये है कि आपका ये कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल रिलेशनशिप है, कोर्ट इसमें कहीं पे भी इंटरफियर नहीं कर सकता। कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल रिलेशनशिप इसलिए है बिकॉज ऑफ फैमिली एंड प्रोक्रिएशन ऑफ चाइल्ड इसमें इससे जुड़ा हुआ है, और चाइल्ड की प्रोक्रिएशन जो है ये आपकी कंसेंसुअल सहमति से ही हो सकती है, अदरवाइज नहीं हो सकती।
सर
तो
एक मिनट सर,
चाइल्ड
सॉरी
नो फॉर सेक्सुअल। जी सर।
सर, एक टीम है आर्या उत्कर्षणी की, वो
जी
अपनी कुछ बात रखने चाहेंगे, उसके बाद आप उसको निष्कर्ष तक पहुंचाएंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा। तो वो
जी सर।
कुछ बोलना चाहती हैं आपसे, तो
जी जी बोलिए।
मैं उनको यहाँ पे आमंत्रित करता हूँ। आर्या, आप,
Oh, yes, sir.
यस,
जी
आप
ठीक।
सर से बोल सकते हैं।
Yeah, a very good evening to all respected judges and all the participants. What my point of view on the marital rape is like, after the, as the sir, respected sir said, the repercussion of the Nirbhaya case in December 2012 led to an amendment to the Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code 1860, which failed to include marital rape as a crime even after the recommendation of the Justice Verma Committee. Sir, what my point of view on the marital rape is like, as it was defined or said by one of the famous journalist F.H. Badigan, quote, her friends used to tell her it wasn't rape if the man was your husband. She didn't say anything, but inside she seethed. She wanted to take a knife to their faces, unquote. Sir, according to the Oxford Dictionary, what rape is defined in that dictionary is that rape means crime typically committed by a man of forcing another person to have sexual intercourse with the offender against their will. Sir, I would like to put some light on this definition. So it is clear from the above definition that rape means when one person forces upon the other person to have sexual intercourse without taking the consent or will of that person. Talking about some facts, according to the data of the National Crime Bureau, NCB, in every 2 minutes, one case of crime against women is reported in India. Sir, according to the report of NCRP, 2.24 million of cases of crime against women had been reported in past 10 years. So now the major question which arises out of this is the problem of marital rape, which has not been considered as crime in India under section 375 of IPC, and whether marriage has, the question is now that whether marriage has become a license to rape your wife. A wife in India does not have the right to accuse her husband of raping her, and therefore she is left with no legal resources on such happening. The wife, the law as it exists now, and therefore under exception 2 to section 375 of IPC, after the decision of the Supreme Court in the cases of Independent Trust versus Union of India in the year of 2017 can be interpreted to mean that sexual intercourse between a husband and a wife who is above the age of 18 years of age after the 172nd report, law commission report, so just give me 1 minute, I'll tell you the number of the report. It was recommended in the 172nd law report that the age of the girl should be increased from 15 to 18. So now the question is that whether after marriage any intercourse between the couple that might amount to rape as under section 375 of the IPC would not amount to rape provided that the wife has attained the age of 18. Before analyzing the legal provision and constitutional articles, the idea of marriage should be in India should be analyzed. The institution of marriage is of uppermost importance in India, and marriage is construed as a sacred union of two individuals. A wife's role in marriage has been long considered to be that of sovereign chattel of her husband. She is expected to tend to all her husband's needs and demands unquestioningly and be a devoted and loyal creature. But to continue to see in women in a marriage as merely the husband's property is in this age is a great folly. There is an urgent need to move away from the notion that a wife's is husband's property, as stated by Lord Neath in the case of R versus R. Sir, as Sir stated that before going on this topic, we need to analyze the three constituents like marital rape, whether it is a constitutionally valid or not. So I would like to put some point on that. uh, marital rape is constitutionally invalid because this is an argument that the courts are to look into and the issue at hand and test it in the light of constitutional articles. It would be causing hindrance in the institution of family. It is, in fact, the exact opposite to marital rape. This constructs a peaceful communal bond, leaving the woman remediless, which is a gross miscarriage of justice. And another point, another element which the sir pointed out was that whether Article 14 should be discussed on this topic. So, whether Article 14, so an equal protection of the law in regard to marital rape, what my opinion is, sir, is a myth in nowadays. The equal treatment under the Article 14 is merely a myth to a large number of women who are subjected to violence and torture in their own house. The right of every woman in this matter is alike, and it should be guaranteed in such manner by law. The only criteria of being an offender with respect to rape should be on the basis of whether the act is performed. A crime would still remain as one, irrespective of the relationship between the offender and the victim. And it does not change the nature of the inquiry into whether the complainant consented to the sexual activity. There are many cases, sir, in which the women are being put into. There are many cases. So, differential treatment is valid only if it has rational basis to the object sought to be achieved. It cannot be any clearer that the object of law punishing rape is to safeguard women against non-confessional sex, and where such a classification with respect to the age or marital status of the victim and her relationship with the offender is made, it fails to fulfill the fundamental object of the law, thereby failing the test of constitutionality under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. The inclusion of clause 3 of the Article 15 of the Constitution in relation to women recognizes the factual situation that essentially women of our country have been socially and economically handicapped. The irrational distinction between married women above 18 years of age and other women in the spirit and ethos of Article 15 of the Constitution also. The third element which I want to discuss is Article 21, right to sexual privacy. Rape is a heinous crime, sir, that violates the bodily integrity of a woman, causes trauma, and takes away her freedom of reproductive choice. The right to bodily integrity had been recognized in the context of privacy in the case of State of Maharashtra versus Madhukar Narayan Mardikar. If sir you want, I can quote the citation. Shall I quote the citation, sir? Okay, citation is State of Maharashtra versus Madhukar Narayan Mardikar, AIR 1991, Supreme Court 207. Wherein it was observed that no one has any right to violate the person of anyone else. In the case of Bodhisattva Gautama versus Subra Chakrabarti, it was said that rape is not only a crime against women but also against the society. It was
marital choice includes the right of a woman to refuse to participate in sexual activity. Marital rape attacks this right of a married woman as it fundamentally affects the right to life and liberty. The marital rape exception under Section 375 of the IPC fills the requirement of being just, fair, and equitable under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Hence, this exception is found to be violative of Article 21 of the Constitution. And as stated, if any law or if any act or if any section is violative of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, it should be flagged down. No law, no act, or no provision should violate the fundamental right of anybody who does not harm any person to have an age. Why this provision, this protection is given to a person who is below the age of 15 years, and why this law does not protect a woman who is just above the years of 18 years, irrespective of the marriage? Just a marriage, she is, if the person is in marriage, that does not mean that she is not a citizen of the India. She is a citizen of India, and the law has all right to protect that person. And the third one, at last, I would like to conclude, sir. In conclusion, the fundamental rights of dignity guaranteed to a woman cannot be denied on the basis of an argument that it will pave way for it to be misused against husbands. This ground can never be the reason to render the use number of different damages. Because in law, now we said that the court has refused in the case of Independent Hospital Union of India in the year 2017. Supreme Court made a statement that it cannot interfere into the matter where the age of a woman is above 18 years of age. Because in interfering into the marriage, it means that it is spoiling all the familial background or familial involvement of the society. So now, but this is an excuse usually is taking because there are many laws, sir, like the Domestic Violence Act, protection of women from domestic violence, and then Sati Abolition Act. There was many acts which was in the family, which was a phenomenon. So this is the excuse which the Supreme Court of the Judiciary will is taking. So on conclusion, I am saying, therefore, exception to the Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code is to be laid down on the grounds of it being a discriminatory, irrational, unjust, unfair, and unreasonable, and therefore violative of Article 14, 15, and 21 of the Indian Constitution. A marital
Yeah.
I just want to confirm that this is my question for or it's not breaking up. Practice has taken you can share your point of view next. Yes. So just coming with an idea that please don't label it as a misogyny, if I don't even repeat you. If my question is when people say that women are not an object, what's your view on the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court said that we are shutting down the identity on the basis that women should not be treated as an object, but Supreme Court accepted that women are not weak in their emotions. I repeat, when a Supreme Court said कि औरत कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है, she should be given and people are right as a many, तो उन्होंने आइडेंटिटी को सिर्फ इसलिए स्टेप डाउन कर दिया कि women are not emotionally strong, इसलिए उन्होंने आइडेंटिटी को decriminalize कर दिया. So I have a view on this. As far as the policy made, what it has consequences on the public and people in the general that should be discussed rather than discussing lots of problem news. When the laws have been made on the marital rape, have you ever think that how it can be misused? Let me give you an example. If a woman had a sexual intercourse, a wife had a sexual intercourse with her husband, with all the consent possible, and tomorrow she goes and said in the police station that I was having consent without the bill, it means my consent was derived by putting a gun on my head, and when my bill was not there. You find that the legislative intention by the women to just defame and destroy the career of a man. Shani Majan is a basic example of this thing. They are using the very law that was made to protect her. We have seen a dowry, women harassment sections in the IPC. So many sections like rape, domestic violence, which is used by the woman just to defame his husband and members of the husband's family. So are they saying that just because we are making a law to make women to feel safe, it's not right to discuss what men will feel and what's the right of women? We should be ready with an idea that what men has a right after the marriages. We have failed to discuss over here the restitution of conjugal rights, which are very right of the spouse. Well, a right to marriage involves a right to have a sexual relation as well. It means if any of the spouse get rid of it from each other have a right to take on that person, goes to a court and say, I want my spouse back because it's not allowing me to live a life, it is my fundamental right to live my spouse. What about the restitution of conjugal rights? What about the man who has the right to live with a wife? Sexual rape, calling it as a marital rape, it has the biggest misuse when the laws were made. Because if you take the IPC, he is kept above from the consent. The very means that was required while having a sexual relationship and a physical relationship. What it meant to come and say, I'm having a husband with me who's had a sexual intercourse with me with all the without my will, who's having no right to defend myself from the same. She was having whole will and right, a whole consent for that physical relationship. My view is only on this that marital rape should not be criminalized, rather it should be made voidable in the favor of the woman or in the favor of the wife. The wife should have the consent and the discretion to select that whether she wants to continue with her marriage life or not. Criminalize is like giving a knife in the hands of the woman so that they can shut upon the woman's career and one wife, and you know how law works in this country, where the one false claim of the woman to be a victim on the 100 right claim of the man. That's my case on this, and this question could need to be asked, and if I get a chance, I'll be dedicating my view. Thank you. so much, Priyanka, for your thoughts. Anybody has any question regarding this? Yeah, Priyanka, I have a question. My question is to Prem Mishra. So the question is, like you said, that if there is a law made in favor of the marital rape, how the women are going to misuse it. So there are very laws which are made by the constitution or not constitution legislature, which are made by the legislature, like the Domestic Violence Act. So women are misusing, women are also misusing this Domestic Violence Act against their husband or against their family. They are putting press charging false charges on the husband and their family and taking those persons to the court. So just because some of the women, 25% or some percentage of the women are misusing those laws, that doesn't mean that we will deny justice to all those women who require a very need of that justice. This is my point.
Should I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sir.
Just want to add regarding this. I think when we say that just because 25% women do, we should not begin the rights of the other women. It's like we are distorting the rights of the law to give justice to anyone, except the justice to them. I have no question, I have no doubt to say that yes, if toy is being made, it will be misused. It is as simple as if you are buying a knife from a market to cut the vegetables, there is the highest probability that you will murder someone. But what if you are buying a knife from the market with the only intention to murder someone? There's a difference. There's a fundamental difference to answer. You must keep in mind that the law has been made cannot justify the law will be made in the future. You are saying that law should be made just because men are misusing it, men are misusing certain rights. So we should make a law that should be for only one and not the others. You must come with a constructive debate and constructive argument that yes, law has been misused, law may be misused, law is being misused, and law can be misused for the future. For that, we must be ready to the conclusion and articulate ourselves that whenever the right is raised, a rape when for one woman it's when woman becomes a victim and men become its right, we should come up with an idea where both these parties should have a claim over the same resistance of the idea. Let me tell you, what am I saying? That marital rape should be made avoidable. For example, marriage should be made avoidable and marital rape is protected. Where if the right of the men will be saved, and woman who is a victim will get rid of from this idea and get rid of from this marriage where she is being used as a object. Because marital rape is not the source we are talking about. How do you justify that the rape is a consensual rape? The rape is an imposed rape. Whether it's a physical relation is an imposed or physical relation is a consensual. The very two clause where will and consent in under section 275 is the question. That's my view. You cannot say that every woman is voting, we cannot make a law. We have to come to constructive argument. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prem. Now I would like to call Abhidya.
हाँ.
So how is marital rape different from rape? Complete right to control the household. You have the right to make sexual relations with the person. How do you find someone with your looks or with your respect rather than money?
Please speak loudly.
I said question that how is the matter different from sexual slavery? Because in sexual slavery you have the complete right to maintain sexual relations with the other person against his or her will. And slavery is abolished as per the Penal Slavery Act of 1843 and it's illegal in India. And how is the matter different from sexual slavery? Because in this case, you are buying a person with your money, you are buying this you are putting his consent with your relationship. So, isn't it the same as slavery?
Anybody has any question regarding this? Anybody has any question regarding this? No, then I would like to call advocates to please write to their words. And I would like to request all the participants to hold on your breath. Your questions will be answered by him, sir.
Thank you, Arya. Prem and Nivedi. Now I am coming to the point those have been generated in the discussion that first of all
Arguments in favor of marital rape I will discuss. In favor of marital rape, which has been highlighted are that in the same way marital rape is also something without her consent, but it is not a crime. Now the question is why
in the chapter of crime under section 375, next question that violates the fundamental right of Article 40, which is right to equality and equal protection of law, and Article 21 right to life and personal liberty. This has been highlighted by Madam Arya. Now the next question is
it is wrong assumption then she is sexually obligated to her partner always. That question has also been highlighted in the discussion itself. Next question was highlighted that when a wife does not have a desire to have sexual intercourse but goes through the process, it affects both her physical and mental health. That again violates her fundamental right to live in a healthier way. That was the point. And the next question, that next point that had been highlighted was, since it is not recognized as a crime, there are only countable cases of marital rape, which is recorded only when we recognize it as a crime. We will able to know the exact occurrence of it. Now, all those factors, those have been discussed in favor of the law. It highlights that the law should be made in favor of the women, and marital rape should be added under section 375. But there are certain points those I would like to discuss over here. Those arguments against marital rape should be discussed. The first point is that term marital rape is itself very insignificant, because the marriage itself means that both parties agree upon a mutual contract of sexual intercourse exclusively. When it has been mutually contracted and it is admitted that the other part has having the right to make a sexual intercourse, then how the point which has been highlighted by Madam Nivadiela Misha regarding that is should be the question that has been highlighted under what she has defined that it should be considered as bonded labor or all that should not be considered in this point, because arguments against marital rape is being considered over here. Now the next question is, there is no need to give any legality to marital rape, as it is an uncommon issue and only countable people are out of this. because if we elaborate that subject, that there are chances that allegations should be made by the wives to the husband on petty issues also. The next question is that this is a problem where the proof cannot be submitted very authentically, due to which it becomes unfeasible to conclude whether it is rape or mutual intercourse. Whether the wives want that the court that the court should monitor their bedroom also, because it is not viable in that case, because the court can being submitted in the court, so these aspects cannot be elaborated time. Next question is that for any personal reasons like anger, the wife may charge the innocent husband, which has been highlighted by Mr. Prem Mishra also. That the charge the innocent husband with such an offense, paving way to gender advantage. That is the main question, which has been highlighted by Honorable Deepak Misra also, that these questions are to be considered, that allegations would be made against the husband uh, due to their chances of getting involved in this or that cases. Another question is that it becomes a burden to the court as it gets clumsy, as this can neither be proved accurately nor dismissed outrightly, because there are no conclusive evidence that how the court will decide in these factors. Now the next questions, according to laws and measures in other countries, we are discussing over here. In United States, the 20th December 1993, the General Assembly had made a declaration that elimination of violence against women should be considered, and those organization of assembly of persons have made that rules against the violence against women, including marital rape, should be included in that. But in India, it is not permissible. And another factor is that we are considered the laws of Australia also. Australian government defines the term rape as a different manner, which is not similar to India. But it included that it should be considered as marital rape. And even in Nepal, it is also considered as marital rape. Now the question is whether it should be considered as a marital rape and the situation in India is permissible or not. The criminalizing the act would create neither another man, just like 498A cases, because most of the cases are not proved in the court, and those cases are being dismissed by the honorable courts. Now the steps by law commission on marital rapes have been taken. Marital rape, it was stated that the husband is supportive of his wife having sexual intercourse without her will or consent won't amount to rape. That is the main point, that it should not be considered as rape. The first tries to lay its emphasize that consent is required only when the married couple lives separately and not when they are living together. So we are concluding that this should not be included as a chapter of marital rape under section 375, because there are so many hurdles, and the horrible crimes would come out, and the husbands will be implicated in the marital rape cases, just like 498A cases, where those are in the courts from the last so many years. Now we are coming to the points that how we should consider all those factors. Those are being considered over here, and I would like to other persons, those are interested in that whether this is a crime or not. I am throwing light on Virinder Bhatt, a person who has claimed that in this matter
the matter was considered, and the points were dragged into the court, that the husband has dragged her into rape and forced her to sex rape. Now Bhatt has said that there was no evidence that the accuser had been drugged, but he also said that if the woman's husband had forced himself on her, that would not qualify as rape under Indian law. Now, so we cannot describe all those factors. Those are considered as, and according to Verma's committee's report, under the Indian Penal Code, sexual intercourse without consent is prohibited. However, an exception of the offence of rape exists in relation of unconsented sexual intercourse by a husband upon a wife. The committee recommended that the exception to marital rape should be removed. Marriage should not be considered as an irrevocable consent to sexual acts. So we should concentrate on the subject matter, and we should not concentrate that those major reasons should be included under section 375 of IPC. The marital rape, as Madam Arya had considered that under section regarding Domestic Violence Act 2005, there are so many cases that under Domestic Violence Act we can get leave from the court under section 3 of the act that sexual assault has been made, and so there are so many cases we consider those factors, and the dignity of the women is maintained in those cases. But we are not considering that section 375 should be added in addition to section 3 in addition to Domestic Violence Act. Now we cannot blindly favor the Western customs that the marital rape should be included in this section. The section 375 of Indian Penal Code considers forced sex in marriage as a crime only when the wife is below 15 years of age. Thus, marital rape is not a criminal offence under IPC. Now the question whether these points should be considered or not. Now the question is that when there are disputes regarding marital rape, then the sacred bondage of the two souls will not be maintained. There will be a ripple and fraternity society, and all those persons will be having different thoughts over there. And in present scenario, we are filing the cases under conjugal benefit. Restitution of conjugal rights are used to be maintained in those cases. But now the question that the feminisms are considered the fact that my body is my right.
Yes, sir. So there are few more people who want to speak. Let them share their views.
Okay.
I would like to call Chandra to speak against Prem. Chandra, please switch your audio. Are you there?
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. My point of deliberation would not be specifically on what Mr. Prem had tried to say here. I would start off first by pointing out one thing that he constantly tried to, put a repercussion on through his speech, that is the statistics. On putting on the 25% statistics, I'd like to point out that there was this famous statesman in America who said that there are three kinds of lies, damned lies, and statistics. So by pointing out that 25% is so very important in regards to number of cases that is not being filed by women, standing in this regard is so very negligent. Coming to point number 2, in a famous book written by Simone de Beauvoir, she says that No one is more arrogant towards women, more aggressive or scornful than the man who is anxious about his virility. Or to more significantly define that man is defined as a human being and a woman as a female. Whenever she behaves like a human being, she is said to imitate the man. Now, this idea of imitation is very strange here. What we need to understand is that we are talking about women in this regard. Women are not given the agency. So the number of reports that we are talking about and the fact that marital rape is not common as some of the speakers tried to put forward the idea, I would like to believe that it is not common because they are not given the agency to be common. If you look at the reports of NCRB, as my friend Arya tried to point here, 19% of all rapes involves the penetrators, which is similar to survivors. And these penetrators are not people who are not known to you, because the stereotypes that we have around, the common ideas that we have around is that the person who will be raping is a person we would not know. But what happens when the person you are coming in apparently quote unquote a contract with, the person rapes you? The idea is that in 2003, United Nations survey found that a quarter of 10,000 men were questioned in 6 Asia Pacific countries, including India, they have admitted to having raped a female partner. Remember, the partner is the important word, not a female person. So, adding to that, I'd like to believe that these people without agencies are not given the voice that they should be given, whether it coming to the Justice Mishra or whether we come to others who have put down constantly the ideas that we believe in the constitution of marriage, the sanctity of marriage, and hence if we criminalize this entire idea of marital rape, the institution of marriage wouldn't stand true. My counter question is that a person who is above the age to signify that he or she can get married to a man, why can't that same person come out of the marriage if she wants to? Why can't the same person, file a complaint against the man she wanted to get into a contract with, especially because her own rights to dignity and own rights to individual space is not rendered to her, which she has been guaranteed, which she has been said to be taken care of when she started that entire journey of marriage. Also important in this regard is in 2005 to 6, the National Family Health Survey found that the commonest source of violence for married women was the spouses itself. It's not any other person, not friends, no one else. So when it comes to violence, we always think that why we always think about this idea that they would rather go to family members than police and try to resolve it. My point is that the resolution doesn't work in case of women who have been subjected to the same kind of mental trauma for the couple of centuries, and their position is no better right now standing in this regard. This false cases meted out to men is true. There are false cases, as my friend has pointed out, that 25% of the false cases which he pointed out in the form of a statistics can be true, and definitely it is against the right of those individuals who have been lied against. But what about the years of struggle? It's like people who are talking about reservations. Like, these are the people who are given these are the people who are given all the dignity, they are given all the seats as if they're taking away the seats. My point is that for the last 4 centuries, 5 centuries, what have you done to those people? They're supposed to get the protection right now. So why not give them the protection? Similar in the case of women, they're always considered the second sex, as Simone de Beauvoir had said. So my point is that criminalization, if it's not the way out, I think the law should be made more accessible to the women so that actually they can go and voice their concern rather than asking them to go and make peace with their very effort. You cannot live with a person who has raped you, who has forced on you. You cannot go and live with the person. That is not the dignity that the marriage has promised you at the beginning of the.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to call Gautami.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Prem here. Just because he had questions, he had thrown certain questions and arguments on me. Can I ask his questions? Arguments.
Please let Gautami conclude, then you'll ask after that.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Gautami, please.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone, honorable judges, and all the participants. So the topic of the debate is marital rape. So I'll be speaking against the motion that marital rape should be criminalized. It is very misfortune on our system that the case of rape, where the rapist may be punished in the death punishment, but if the rapist is the husband of the other sex, that there is no punishment will be awarded. It's very it's not satisfying that if a woman is living with her husband and she is not treated equal, and the word consent is very much important, where the intercourse by a man with his wife, and it includes a threat of any physical violence or physical force where she is unable to give her consent. It is it is a non-consensual act of violence, perversion by a husband against the wife, where she is abused physically, not only physically but actually sexually too. So, as Advocate Rajneesh sir has told that sir actually was talking about Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, which states that equality before law and equal protection of law. I just want to highlight that point, that if the women, if her consent has not been taken, or she has been subjugated, that it definitely means that that this right has been violated. It means that the husband is using force, physical force, and also sexual force, and the wife and the body of the wife is totally has been used arbitrarily and unreasonably, which violates the basic principle of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Also, Article 15 says that there must not be any discrimination ground of sex and making the sexual relation against the consent of the wife, which actually violates Article 15 too. Article 15, Clause 3, it states that no laws can be against the women, but explanation number 2 of Article 375 makes it clear that husband cannot be. It says that husband cannot be punished. But if we talk about Article 21, where it gives the personal life and liberty of an individual, whether every person has the right to take decision of their personal life, and making the sexual intercourse against the consent of the wife goes against Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. At last, I want to just say that the time has gone. Those days were gone where women have been subjugated. So it's high time. As Arya also mentioned that. The hour is to, we need to raise our voice against the injustice, against the marital rape, and we talk about the marital rape is a huge problem in India. Like in 1 in 3 men admit to raping their wives, and 1 Indian woman is raped by her husband in every 3 seconds, very rightly said by Arya. And it is a cringe, it is like a very shame on us that even after so many years of marital rape has been reported, but still our judiciary has not taken any reasonable decision. Also, I would like to say that the Supreme Court need to address this issue about marital rape, and it is an urgent need to protect the rights of the women in our country, as patriarchy is very ingrained in our culture. So we need to decide that, letting women decide whether they want to be equally protected, letting them have the freedom and control over their bodies by the challenging the existing norms is a sign of intellectual liberation for any country like India. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gautami. Anyone interested to ask any questions or anything? Okay, so Prem Mishra, you can continue.
Thank you for this. Just a predecessing panelist has given his view. I just want to tell you that, okay, today make a law against the marital rape. I have no issue for the same. Make a law against it. But fundamental question, you see, they labeled me as a misogynist as I started saying that please don't label me too. As they are the champions of the gender equality, I just want to say, come front and say that rape is not only committed on the women but men as well. Do they have a very dare to say that whatever there is no such cases in the India where women are misusing the very law that was made to protect them? Can they keep their hands on their heart and they can say that whatever the cases have been filed in the India, they are with the proposition on the ground that fact has been taken place? Are they saying that they know the very well that Article 20, when it comes to Article 21, it only applies to a woman and not a man? Are they saying the very constitution that what is made, it's only favored towards the women just because they have been a victim of the centuries and the centuries, and we can take away men from it just because they have somewhat presumption has been made that they have resisted and dominated upon the women. My question is that whenever the law has been made, it should be discussed in all the premises. It's not only a legality I'm talking about here is what about the right of restitution of conjugal rights of a man, of a husband? What about the subsection 1 and 2 of the section 375 about will and without consent? My third question is when you are talking about the law, are you saying that you're giving me an assurance that the very law which will be made will never be misused in the future? Well, the history does not show that. History speaks that whenever there is a complaint, that's why I gave a reference of the Shiny Huja case. Where the case, where this attempt of rape and the cases of the rape was been run on and tried on the actor Shiny Huja. And what came at the last? His life was destructed. His life has been demolished. I want to ask every such people of the gender equality when they come as in people as in legal knowledge and legal aspire and rational thinking, can they have guts to say that women, not only women are raped, but men as well? Do they have a right to say that whatever cases have been lost in India is just it has a true evidence? No, they're not. So until unless you have a particular position, don't claim as a representative of entire community you are not. First thing, you cannot represent on behalf of the women. You cannot represent on behalf of the legal aspirer. In the language of Game of Thrones, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prem. Anybody wants to ask any question? Is there anyone interested? Ajay, are you there? Arya Utkarshni, are you there? Please switch on your audio. Arya Utkarshni, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah.
Would you like to highlight something regarding this?
No, I have put in all my points. So I rest my speech here.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone interested to share their point of views? Anyone?
Hello. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes,
I just have a concluding remark for myself to make.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for this. See, unless there are the many panelists who use the proverbs and the phrases of the Western ideological thinkers, my question is, unless you will look at the Indian problems with the lenses of the Westerns, it will have no outcome. When you're quoting the eminent thinkers from the outside, let me quote Ajay Shankar Prasad, where he said about a man and a woman, what men and women are. He said कि तुम तुंग हिमालय श्रृंग और मैं चंचल गत्सुर सरिता और तुम निर्मल हृदय श्वास और मैं कांत कामिनी कविता. Where woman is saying we both are as if we're a Himalaya and you are a Himalaya and I'm like a Ganga coming out slow from it. Where Himalaya is nothing without Ganga and Ganga is nothing without Himalaya. In the same way, you are the word and I am the poem of that word. Word has no essence without a poem. Poem has no essence without the word. The same way, India has a perception of making a woman as a goddess. But sorry, when you talk about this time, we are talking about only one gender just because you feel sympathize for that. I have no such reality. I have a rational thinking to even believe for the men so. For the same, I can believe, I have a right to believe that men is even being exploited with a very law which is made to favor a single gender. Thank you. I rest myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prem. You concluded with very nice quotes. Now I would like to call Sir Rajneesh Mose, sir. Please come upon and show some light on their words.
Thank you, ma'am. The question is that whether the feminism point that my body is my right, whether it should be considered or not. The question is that my body, my right idea has been highlighted by so many feminist organizations. It is on this premise on which the need of martial law recognized and even inducted by many states in the world. That was the reasons those have been highlighted in that cases. Now the question is that no law to address marital rape of husband. There are so many chances that marital rape is being made by with the wife only. It is not a case. There may be the chances that the marital rape with the husband may be. There are chances that the marital rape with the husband should be had been made, and there is no one consider those factors also, because we are considering that some may advocate in against or in favor of marital rape. Few data state that the marital rape with men, that is the husband, is also at large, but no law has been ever made to address marital rape of husband. Now the question is that the law hardly considers that man can be victim of domestic abuse or violence or rape or any kind of sex abuse. Why so? Why the women are being considered in that factors only? Whereas the figure for such other abuse at most equal to women abuse. It may be equivalent in both of the cases. The burning question which is being highlighted is that whether marriage should be considered as a sacred relationship and state should enter in the bedroom. What the feminists want that they should peep into their bedrooms and decide on the material facts. Second question is that marriage does not give a license to use the other person for pleasure and consider your partner as property. That is the factor that we should consider. Another point is that an important question on evidence part also arises. If marital rape laws are brought into the force in there, the evidence of what has happened between husband and wife inside their bedroom is something very difficult to determine. How we will conclude that such and such incident was a consensual law, or it has been made forcibly? Secondly, how the offense will be proved? Whether the cameras will be installed in their bedrooms, whether the affidavit will be attested by the oath commissioner, and that will be the factors they would like to highlight before every act of sex, whether it was a consent or it was a rape. How can we determine those factors? In India, matrimonial laws are well defined, also covered by and laws. Abuses including sexual nature in many matrimonial laws and even by criminal law also. It does not recognize marital rapes especially. Now I am considering the points of maninists. The right balance should be considered, and how it is to be determined. Less sex can be considered as harassment or not a happy life. Even ground for divorce, more can be termed as rape. Feminists say, no one owns my body. It is my right to decide, and my consent is important. Now the factors again, it is whether it is marital rape or not. Now the question is the next point which we highlight is that possibility of misuse of this law cannot be denied. Second part is that at present the lawmakers of India and society is divided on this subject matter. Its support is the ideology of how one can abuse or rape on the pretext of marriage. Another point is that how can marriage give such rights, and stringent marital rape law is in need of the hour to secure the dignity of the lady. Another point is that it does not talk about the man as a victim for now. Why not? Why we are highlighting on the feminist points only? There are plenty of matrimonial laws and scope in criminal law that clearly present to address the situation, and private law is already secured towards benefiting the wife. Why not the husbands? Whether they are not victims? Another point is that how the role of state is balancing between holding the fundamental rights of the individual and not interfere, into a sensitive and personal nature of the relationship that marriage holds. How such the state holds peep into the someone's bedroom. It is a very important question that there are no facts that can be proved. It should be explored that at present there are a number of genuine and false matrimonial cases going on the court of law as per the present laws. Because we are going through the 498, a misuse of law, and background in India is that marriage in India is sacred union of two people. Its change will become a more of civil contract between the two people of family.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I would like to call is having something to say. You can come on and share your view.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Good evening to all of you. Actually, sir, I have a question. I have talked with an advocate, कि अगर शादी के बाद ऐसी कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है कि जिसको अभी हम मैरिटल रेप के रूप में बोल रहे हैं, बट द थिंग इज कि सोसाइटी इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेड इट एज अ मैरिटल रेप. अगर कोई हस्बैंड उसकी वाइफ के साथ जबरदस्ती करता है, अगर उसका मन नहीं है तो भी अपना फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकालने के लिए क्या किसी भी चीज करने के लिए उसको जबरदस्ती करता है, सेक्सुअली हैरेस करता है, तो सोसाइटी उसको मैरिटल रेप को लेके नहीं चलती. बोलती है कि ये तुम्हारा पति है तो इस पे तुम्हारा हक है. अगर इसको कोर्ट में या फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कुछ जस्टिफिकेशन देते हुए ये बोला है कि ये अपराध नहीं है, अगर ये अपराध नहीं है तो इसके तो फिर क्या करेगी विक्टिम, क्या करेगी? तो मेरे पास एक ऐसा ऑप्शन आया कि अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपके साथ गलत हो रहा है तो यू कैन टेक डाइवोर्स, राइट, कि आप डाइवोर्स ले सकते हो उसके साथ. बट द थिंग इज सर कि जो सोसाइटी है अगर वो इस चीज को मैरिटल रेप को एक अपराध नहीं मान रही और वो लड़की या फिर औरत जो एजुकेटेड है, सेल्फ इंडिपेंडेंट है, उनके लिए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, वो अपना चीज संभाल सकती है डाइवोर्स के बाद. बट द थिंग इज कि जो लोग सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट नहीं है, उतनी एजुकेटेड नहीं है, उनका डाइवोर्स हो जाए. और जो सोसाइटी की धारणा है कि शादी के बाद तुम्हारा ससुराल ही तुम्हारा घर है, उसके बाद कंडीशन ये हो जाती है कि ना तो उसके मायके वाले उसको बोझ समझने लगते हैं, ना ही ससुराल वाले उसको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे. उस हालात में क्या किया जाए अगर ये अपराध नहीं है तो?
Yeah, Shiraj, thanks for the points those have been highlighted by you. अब बात आती है कि क्या इसको किस श्रेणी में हम लेंगे? बताइए, आप बताइए कि अगर हस्बैंड और वाइफ का रिलेशन जो है, क्या कोर्ट आपके बेडरूम में जाकेगी? ये तो नहीं हो सकता ना.
बट द थिंग इज सर कि जैसे रेप होती है, अगर किसी अनमैरिड के साथ रेप होती है तो जो प्रावधान वहां पे है उसको टेस्ट करने का, वही प्रावधान वहां पे भी होना चाहिए. क्योंकि अगर किसी के साथ रेप होता है, जबरदस्ती उसके साथ इंटीमेसी की जाती है, तो कहीं ना कहीं बॉडी अफेक्ट होती है. तो फिर वो चीज वहां पे क्यों नहीं है सर? वो मेडिकल चेकअप वहां पे क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि बॉडी और जो मेंटल स्थिति होती है, और हमारा जो टेक्नोलॉजी है, मेडिकल साइंस इतना डेवलप कर चुका है कि किसी की मेंटल स्थिति देख के या फिर जो उसके बॉडी में क्या चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, उसके बॉडी पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ रहा है, उसकी चेकिंग हो सकती है. तो फिर इसका कहना कि नहीं, अगर झूठा इल्जाम लगा देता है सर, अगर मान लिया जाए कि कोई झूठा इल्जाम लगा रही है, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसकी मेंटल स्थिति या फिर उसकी बॉडी की जो स्थिति होगी वो नॉर्मल होगी. लेकिन जिसके साथ जबरदस्ती हो रही है, उसके साथ गलत हो रहा है, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसकी बॉडी और उसकी जो मेंटल सिचुएशन होगी वो डिस्क्राइब करेगी उस चीज को. तो आई थिंक मैरिटल रेप जैसी इस चीज को अपराध में रखना चाहिए.
बात अब यहाँ पे आई है, आपने जो कहना चाह रहे हैं वो ये है, अनवांटेड इंटरकोर्स हुआ है, ठीक है ना? यही पॉइंट आप हाईलाइट कर रहे हैं ना. तो वाइफ आप कह रहे हैं कि ये साइंस बहुत डेवलप कर गई है, तो साइंस ने ये उस स्थिति को कैसे डिफाइन करे कि ये आपका आपने उसको कंसेंसुअली करा है या उसने आपको साथ जबरदस्ती की है। तो ये ऐसा कोई भी ऐसा प्रावधान नहीं है आज की डेट में, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। और ये जो है ताक झांक जो है कोर्ट आपके बेडरूम में नहीं कर सकती है, क्योंकि 376 में इसकी पुनिशेबल, आप इसको जैसे कह रहे हो 376 में इसको पुनिशेबल एक्ट होना चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं होना होएगा, क्योंकि ऐसे तो सारी जितनी भी मैरिजेज हैं ये इस पे इतना गलत प्रभाव पड़ेगा तो सारी मैरिजेज ही टूट जाएंगी। क्योंकि यहाँ पे छोटी छोटी घटनाओं पे, छोटे छोटे वाद विवाद पे जो विमेन है वो ये मैटर जो है मैरिटल रेप का हाईलाइट करेंगे, और ये इसको संभालना कोर्ट की निगाह में बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हस्बैंड ने उसके साथ में सेक्स जो किया है उसका जो है कोई भी ऐसा प्रूव करना कोर्ट की निगाह में कोई इतना आसान नहीं है। जैसे हम लोग आपको बता भी देता हूं कि जैसे हम फोरेंसिक साइंस में इसको डील करते हैं, उसमें भी बहुत सी प्रोविजंस है। उसमें जब हम उसकी क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन करते हैं 90% केसेस में वो जो रेप है वो कन्वर्ट हो जाता है कंसेंसुअल सेक्स पे। तो इसके कारण आप ये जब यहाँ पे तो हस्बैंड और वाइफ का मैटर है, जब मैटर जो है अननोन पर्सन में भी होता है तो भी वो जो है मैटर जो है वो रिव्यू आप करेंगे, तो वो जो रिव्यू करने के बाद आपको ये लगेगा कि ये जो है रेप नहीं है, ये कंसेंसुअल सेक्स है। क्योंकि किसी भी टाइम पे किसी भी कारण में हस्बैंड वाइफ में मनमुटाव चलता ही रहेगा, और मनमुटाव होने पे एक वाइफ के पास एक बहुत बड़ा कंडा आ जाएगा कि वो उस पे एक एलिगेशन इतना जबरदस्त एलिगेशन लगा देगी कि रेप का, और वो जो घर है जो आज तक हमारी सोसाइटी में घर जुड़े हुए हैं वो टूट जाएंगे। यही मेन कारण है कि क्योंकि लॉ कमीशन भी इसको अप्रूव नहीं कर रहा है, और इंडिया में ये सब नहीं हो पा रहा है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हमारे अगर ऐसे कोई चांसेस हैं, हम रेस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ कंजुगल राइट्स में इसकी प्लीडिंग करते हैं, तो रेस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ कंजुगल राइट्स क्या है? अगर आपके साथ मतलब जबरदस्ती हो गई तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली सेपरेट होएगा, हस्बैंड वाइफ सेपरेट हो जाएगी। तो उसके बाद में रेस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ कंजुगल राइट्स का तो प्रोविजन है ना, उसमें तो फाइल करेगा। अगर आपको कोई ऑब्जेक्शन होगा तो वो कोर्ट में आप बताएंगे कि भाई ये ऐसा हो रहा है। डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट में आपके प्रोविजन है, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट में आप कह सकते हो कि भाई कि ये मेरे साथ ये गलत हो रहा है, तो इसके बारे में कोर्ट उसको भी कंसीडर कर लेगी। पर 375 में इसको रेप की श्रेणी में लेके आना ये गलत है। इसको ना कोर्ट मान रही है और ना ही आपके जितने भी नेशनल कमीशन फॉर विमेन की और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने जो ड्राफ्ट आज तक सबमिट किए हैं उस आज तक कभी भी मान्यता प्राप्त इसका कारण नहीं पाया, क्योंकि ये जो फैक्टर्स हैं इसको हम कंसीडर नहीं कर सकते, और इसको हम स्पेसिफिकली डिनाई करेंगे कि ये जो फैक्टर्स है घर को टूटने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा रोल करेगा, जिसको जो मान्यता प्राप्त नहीं है। बोलिए।
Thank you so much, sir. Chandran, want to speak?
Yeah, so in my final rebuttal, since I couldn't answer my friend, the entire idea would be little subjective, and I would say that since he actually brought the agency not quote a foreign thinker, and that is to be underswept, is the exact idea that the men's right activists use while they are showing their definitive hegemony by the virtue of their gender. Number one. Number two is that by abrupt bombardment with the idea that a man cannot put the point in question because he cannot be sympathetic to a gender, and he has to actually be that gender to put his points is also not legally valid, a quote that he kind of used again and again. My third point is Third point is definitely with the fact that the constant stress on the starting idea of his that I asked you not to presume me as a misogynist, but to do is a constant reminder of a world that we are living in, which is a post-truth world in which emotions run faster than the logic, emotions run faster than the truth, and emotions run faster than the facts. So my point in question is that since I know nothing Jon Snow, but there is one thing that I would surely like to say, which Jon Snow said, that live one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe. When people ask me what happened here, tell them that the North remembers, tell them that winter came to the house frame. Thank you. I end my rebuttal with this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Bedim, I found your message. Do you want to share something?
Yeah, what I was saying. Recently, due to the LGBT movement, the Supreme Court Section 377, which criminalized unnatural sex. So before that, if you had unnatural sex with your wife, then you could be punished plus Section 377. But now it is scrapped up. Unnatural sex is legal now. So in most of the cases, there is an arranged marriage in India. Maximum marriages are arranged in India. So you don't know the likes and dislikes and the nature of the person before your marriage. So what if you realize after your marriage that your husband is a fan of oral sex and he forces you to do oral sex with him? If that's not a mental torture for the wife, then what is? And this way it even legalizes it because 377 is capped up and marital rape is not a crime.
So,
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Now I'm coming to the point why only 36 countries are included and those are considering that marital rape and those are accepted from the marital rape laws. In August 2019, former Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra said marital rape should not be made a crime in India due to the reasons. What reasons he has highlighted? Those were that it will spread anarchy in families and our country is sustaining itself because of the family platform which upholds family values. Because we are considering the family values, so we cannot consider the factor of 375. And the next point he has highlighted that social customs and religious beliefs, those are the staggering illiteracy, because all the persons are not literate in India. The literacy position in India is very low, so we cannot stress over here. The next question is that we cannot follow blindly the law maintained by the Western customs, because the country has its own unique problems due to various factors like literacy, lack of financial empowerment of the majority females, the mindset of the society, vast diversity, poverty, and all those factors. Those should be considered carefully before criminalizing marital rape. Now the question is that women's perpetual consent is implied or not. The next question is that women will misuse any law against marital rape. In an affidavit submitted to Delhi High Court, the Union government said a law criminalizing marital rape can become an easy tool to harass the husbands. This is the main point. Easy tool to harass the husband, absurdly arguing if all sexual acts between the husband and his own wife qualify to the marital rape, then the judgment whether it is marital rape or not will singularly rest with the wife as it should be. These are the points those should be considered, and that cannot be neglected at present, because protection of women from domestic violence act is another act which can provide relief to the women in these circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to call Rohit Kumar to come upon and share his views. Could you please switch on your audio? Sir, could you please switch on your audio?
Ma'am, I will talk later on.
Is there anyone more interested to share their point of views or for rebuttal? I'm repeating, is there anyone more interested to ask any question or anything? Okay, so as we have come to a conclusion, is there any... Okay, so we have 2-3 speakers right now left. So let's start with Prem Mishra. You can continue.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me. My whole presentation, my whole view, and my briefings and deliberation was just concreted and premised into a 3 lines that I am proving ourselves as an hegemony. I'm quoting a person. I'm quoting people just for my references. So my question is, when I gave questions and I put up the contention over criminalizing of the marital rape, that how it can be misused, no one the dear panelist Chandril didn't accept it and didn't answer any one of them, but he very rarely accepted that he the Jon Snow when I put the character position on him. I'm asking you again and again in a loop, like a stuck gramophone, that what if the law has been made, what is your idea over the restitution of conjugal rights of a husband? First. Second, how it will be misused? Are you giving an assurance as a layman, being with legal knowledge, that it will never be misused? A premises of thinking that women are, I have no hesitation to say that women has been victimized in the society. I have no issue to accept it. But my view is, can you deteriorize and you denominate and you recessive a person of another gender, like a man, just on the view that all women are victimized, so that all men should be the culprit for the same? No, it's not. Even today, when you quote people in trending, people have a habit, when women are getting raped, people have a habit to trend that all men are rapists. Even I can talk about the same mindset when people have to claim off. But my view is very contentious too. Even I am asking again and again a question which respected advocate sir has also raised. Does court has a right to peep into the window of the man, husband and wife, that whether the sex is has been imposed? Second, are you saying that this law will not be used against a man? Never ever. Because last from 70 years after independence, we have seen a number of cases where women are proving themselves as a victimized of the society, the very society that has came front to make them to have a socialized life, to make them to have equate themselves with the very people who are known as an eminent in this country. So are you saying that it will never be misused in that way? I'm again and again saying that section 375, the 2 subsections which talks about without a will and without a consent. How will you prove that when women come and say that a marital rape has been imposed on me, how men will prove that the sex was consensual, it was with the will? Because if women come and say that it was with the consent and without a will, और मेरा कंसेंट लिया गया था मेरे सर पे बंदूक रखकर और मुझे धमकी दी थी कि अगर तुम मेरे साथ सेक्सुअली नहीं होगी तो मैं तुम्हारा गला दबा दूंगा, तो कि कैसे कोर्ट पता करेगा कि औरत सही बोल रही है या आदमी सही बोल रहा है? There are the higher chances that this law will be misused. I want answer from the panelist on this matter rather than rumoring yourself from the monger. Thank you. I rest my views. Thank you.
You will get your answer, Prem. Firstly, I would like to call Priyanshi. You can come up and share your views.
जहाँ सर ने बोला कि हस्बैंड वाइफ के कमरे में कोई ताक झाक नहीं कर सकता या फिर इससे शादी है जो खतरे में पड़ सकती है, जो हमारा इंडियन कल्चर है शादी विवाह को लेके। बट द थिंग इज सर कि अगर लाइक हमारे इंडिया में सिर्फ मैरिटल रेप जैसी चीज नहीं है, उसके पहले भी है कि रेप केसेस बहुत ज्यादा है कहीं भी किसी भी, और बात रही कि लड़कियां खुद को विक्टिम्स ये करती है, तो I think everybody is very familiar to the situation and the condition of female in the society कि उसे कैसे लास्ट हमने जो वेबिनार किया था सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन पे भी, कि बचपन से ही लेके ये चीजें होती आती है। बट द थिंग इसकी जो मतलब एक रेस्ट्रिक्शन, शादी के बाद रेस्ट्रिक्शन है कि शादी टूट जाएगी चाहे ये हो जाएगी, इसलिए शायद कहीं ना कहीं औरतें मैनेज करती है। और शादी के बाद ऐसा नहीं है कि सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट को लेके डेथ रेट कम है या फिर और भी बहुत प्रकार की चीजें हैं कि कोई प्रेग्नेंट भी होती है, उनका हस्बैंड उनके साथ जबरदस्ती करता है, उनका ये मिसकैरेज हो जाता है, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाता है। तो इस चीज के लिए क्या असर, अगर मैरिटल रेप को अगर मैरिटल रेप नहीं बोला जा सकता, बट द थिंग इज कि इसको क्राइम भी क्यों नहीं बोला जा रहा है, मेरा सवाल बस यहाँ पे है। और जो शादी के पहले भी जो रेप होता है, तो जब तक किसी की डेथ नहीं हो जाती, जहां तक मैंने देखा है कि जिसकी डेथ हो गई उसके लिए लोग कैंडल मार्च करते हैं, ये करते हैं, इसको सजा दिलवाओ वो दिलवाओ। बट द थिंग इज कि आप एक केस लेके चलो ना, इतने सारे केसेस हैं रेप के, फिर वही चीज है क्योंकि इनके इसके लिए इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में पनिशमेंट है ही नहीं, उनको सुधरने का मौका दिया जाएगा चाहे कुछ भी दिया जाएगा, इसलिए कंटिन्यूअसली ये जो रेट है वो बढ़ते जा रहा है। शादी के पहले उनको सजा नहीं मिलती, लड़कियां इज्जत छुपाने के चक्कर में, माँ बाप का इज्जत छुपाने के चक्कर में केस नहीं करती। शादी के बाद रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है कि उनका परिवार है, उनका नाम खराब हो जाएगा। ये क्राइम क्यों नहीं है सर, इसके लिए क्या किया जाए? फिर वही जो रेपिस्ट होते हैं जो पहले किए फिर वो बाद में जाके अपनी वाइफ के साथ भी वो करते हैं, तो क्या आपको लगता है कि ये सही है? एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग आई एम आस्किंग कि क्या ये सही है?
जी थैंक यू। बात आपके कहने के मुताबिक हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं है, पर आप डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट 2005 के बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्या हम इसका मिसयूज हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा? आप अपने दिल पे हाथ रख के बताइए कि क्या इसका मिसयूज होता है या नहीं होता है? क्या सेक्शन 498A का मिसयूज होता है या नहीं होता है? क्योंकि ये सब जो है धाराएं, ये जो भी हमारे एक्ट्स है बने, उसमें इसका मिसयूज हो रहा है। इसलिए हमारे इंडिया में प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ विमेन फ्रॉम डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट 2005 में एक प्रावधान है कि वो मैरिटल रेप की एग्जैक्ट फिगर नहीं, बट उसको उस तरीके से वो अपनी कंप्लेंट में ये सब कह सकती है। ये तो आप मानते हो कि नहीं मानते हो? जब अगर ये सब हो सकता है कि ये सेक्सुअल नेचर है, ये सेक्सुअल नेचर में उसके साथ फोर्सफुली ये सब हो रहा है और इसकी डिग्निटी विमेन की इसमें टार्निश हो रही है, तो ये सब जो है हम डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट में भी ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं। हम ये नहीं कहते कि ये सब जो प्रावधान है 375 में लेके उसको रेपिस्ट बना दिया जाए हस्बैंड को, और रेपिस्ट बनेगा तो उसके जैसे ऑनरेबल दीपक मिश्रा जी ने कहा कि ये ऐसे तो फिर सारी फैमिलीज ही टूट जाएंगी। अगर ये सब ये लोग करेंगे तो इसका मिसयूज इतना हो जाएगा और हम लोग हमारे इंडिया में हमारी अपनी फैमिलीज को संभालने के लिए संभाल नहीं पाएंगे। हम उसका जो है ब्लाइंडली उसको फॉलो नहीं कर सकते जैसे वेस्टर्न सिस्टम में चल रहा है। वेस्टर्न सिस्टम में कुछ एक प्रावधान है, आप देख रहे हो कि दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में का जब भी जो भी डिसीजन आए थे इस बारे में, उसमें ये कहा था इजी टूल टू हराओ द हस्बैंड। तो उन्होंने यही कहा था ना कि ये एक इजी टूल है। अगर इजी टूल है तो उसको तभी तो कंसीडर नहीं किया जा रहा। अगर उसने ये कहना है कि 375 ही आपको क्यों चाहिए, आप इसमें आप प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ विमेन फ्रॉम डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट में यूज कर सकते हो, उसमें आप उसके प्रावधान को क्यों नहीं यूज कर रहे? इसी कारण में ये सब जो मैटर है मैरिटल रेप का हाईलाइट कब हुआ, जब ये तब हाईलाइट हुआ जब दिल्ली रेप केस सामने आया, और दिल्ली रेप केस सामने आने के बाद में इसमें आवाजें उठने लगी कि इसमें क्रिमिनल लॉ में अमेंडमेंट होनी चाहिए, और ये अमेंडमेंट आज तक क्यों भी परमिसिबल नहीं है, क्योंकि आपने तो कह दिया कि हमारे साथ ये फोर्सफुली ये किया गया, पर ये सब जो है हमारी कोर्ट जो है आपके बेडरूम में शांत ज्ञान नहीं कर सकती। आपकी जो प्राइवेसी है आप उसमें आप क्या आपके सीसीटीवी कैमरास की जो आपकी फुटेज है क्या वो आप उसको डिस्प्ले करेंगे? तो ये सब कहां तक वायबल है? आप इंडिया में ये सब कह तो सकते हो कि हाँ भाई हमारे साथ रेप हुआ है, मेरे साथ ये हुआ, मेरे साथ वो हुआ, बट इस श्रेणी में आप इसको नहीं ला सकते, क्योंकि एनसीडब्ल्यू ने भी कई बार इसमें पॉइंट्स उठाए हैं कि मैरिटल सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स हो रहा है, इसके बारे में कोर्ट रिव्यू करे, बट कोर्ट ने आज तक रिव्यू नहीं किया। तो उसी के कुछ एक कारण है, और 172nd रिपोर्ट जो है रिव्यू ऑफ रेप लॉज 2000 उसको भी आप पढ़ के देखिए, उसमें भी विमेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने बहुत कुछ कहा था, जैसे ऑल इंडिया डेमोक्रेटिक विमेन्स एसोसिएशन और साक्षी जो है आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, उन्होंने भी बहुत कुछ कहा, पर मैरिटल रेप को आज तक कोर्ट ने कंसिडर नहीं किया। सिर्फ इसी कारण कंसिडर नहीं किया क्योंकि हमारी जो ये सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स है इसका मिसयूज इंडिया में होने के बहुत ज्यादा चांसेस है, और इस मिसयूज को रोकने के लिए ये सब चीजें वायबल नहीं है। थैंक यू।
Anyone more interested to speak something? Anyone more interested to speak something or ask any question? If no, then I would like. Is there anyone more interested to speak something? Okay, so I hope everyone's topic and idea has been cleared by sir, and we had a great time together.
Thank you, Devanshi.
Thank you so much, sir. You would like to speak something?
Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
So sir, what you said before 2018, these things could be considered, but in 2018, Section 377 was removed. So that creates a very big loophole in this marital rape case because that legalized unnatural sex. Before that, someone doing unnatural sex with someone couldn't get punishment under 375, but he could get punishment under 377. But now, as this is legal, so a person can force his wife to for any unnatural sex. And there are many forms of unnatural sex which are used to torture, spies and other. They are the most bizarre forms of torture, which are actually used by torturers. So, if a person forces his wife to perform oral sex on him, then that's a very big murder torture, and since 300 have been scrapped out, it's not legal. And as marital rape is legal, so a person is free to do that. So, that way a person can torture his wife to a very big extent. That's a full mental and sexual torture. So, what would you say on this?
Thank you, Niranjan. The matter is that unnatural sex, that is another issue that we will come forward, and the facts will be brought before the Honorable Court, and the medical examination report is to be considered at the most in such type of the cases, because unless and until we get the medical reports and we get the court cannot decide on the matter that whether it was a rape case or it was a consensual sex. Now the question is that whether it should be considered as in unnatural sex case. Yes, it should be considered, and the courts take the cognizance of those facts if this is proved by the forensic lab laboratory, and the forensic lab certifies that such type of the unnatural sex has been done, and these are the reports, and obviously such type of actions under section 376 of the IPC is being taken in those cases. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope everybody's point has been clear. As we have told, it will be a 2-hour session. It has been completed.
दिव्यांशी,
Yes, sir.
एक मिनट। एक्चुअली हम लोग जिस मुद्दा को लेके आए थे कि मैरिटल रेप को अपराध की श्रेणी में रखा जाए या ना रखा जाए, अभी हम लोगों ने इस डिबेट के माध्यम से जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट थे उनकी बात सुन रहा था हम लोग, और सुन रहे थे और नोट किया गया है। मुद्दा अभी भी यही है, कुछ का मानना है कि ये अपराध है, कुछ अभी भी मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। तो प्रॉब्लम यहाँ ये है कि थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम हुई उसके लिए भी लोग लॉ खोजने लगते हैं। समस्या, हर एक समस्या के लिए अगर लॉ बना दिया जाए तो एक ही रिश्ता है, वो रिश्ता पति और पत्नी का है, जिसमें सहमति से आप सेक्स कर सकते हैं। उस रिश्ते में भी अगर आप रेप टाइप की चीज खोज रहे हैं या फिर आपको लग रहा है कि वहां पे भी रेप घुसता चला आ रहा है, तो ये मुद्दा बहुत ही सेंसिटिव है। इस टाइप के केस को हम लोग कैसे डील करते हैं, इस टाइप के जो क्लाइंट्स आते हैं उन्हें हम क्या सजेस्ट करते हैं, ये सारी चीजें हमारा जो नेक्स्ट वेबिनार है इसी टॉपिक पे, उस पे हम लोग करेंगे। अभी हम लोग का मेन मकसद यही था कि लोग के माइंड में चल क्या रहा है, क्योंकि अगर हम लोग डायरेक्ट वेबिनार कर रहे हैं तो सिर्फ अपनी चीजों को हम लोग रख दे रहे थे। अभी हम लोग क्या करेंगे, पहले हर एक टॉपिक पे पहले एक डिबेट करेंगे। डिबेट से आप लोग के माइंड में जो चल रहा है वो हमारे पास आ गया। अब जो हम लोग वेबिनार करने जाएंगे, इससे क्या होगा ना, जो आउटकम निकलेगा वो आप लोग के फायदे के लिए होगा। क्योंकि अभी हमने नोट किया कि इतने सारे इश्यूज हैं जिनसे लोगों ने जो भी राय दी और जितने पार्टिसिपेंट ने बोला वो सभी अपने स्तर से सत्य थे, और जो चीजें थी वो सबकी सही लग रही थी जब वो बोल रहे थे, लेकिन निष्कर्ष अभी भी नहीं निकला। इस निष्कर्ष को कि हम लोग भाई आखिर क्या करें, कैसे करें, इसके लिए एक नेक्स्ट वेबिनार होगा जो कि इस मंथ के एंड में होगा। टॉपिक यही रहेगा। आप लोग से आग्रह होगी कि आप उसमें फिर से रजिस्टर करें और हमसे जुड़ें। दूसरी चीज है कि डिफैक्टो जिल से जो भी लोग जुड़ना चाहते हैं वो हमें मेल कर सकते हैं, व्हाट्सएप पे डाल सकते हैं। हम लोग स्कूल में अवेयरनेस के लिए भी जा रहे हैं। अभी तो स्कूल बंद है, जैसे ही खुलता हम लोग अवेयर करेंगे, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं अवेयरनेस के कारण ये सारी चीजें हो रही है। अगर बच्चे को अवेयर कर दिया जाए पहले से ही तो शायद बहुत सारे जो अपराध है वो कम किया जा सकता है। काहे कि बच्चे हमेशा अपने बड़े को देख के उस अपराध को करना चाहते हैं या करते हैं। अगर मैं पहले से हम लोग अवेयर कर दें स्कूल में जा जाके, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये अपराध कम किया जा सकता है। इसका हिस्सा बनने के लिए जो भी पार्टिसिपेट या कहीं से भी जो चाहते हैं कि मैं वो लॉ फील्ड के हैं या फिर लॉ फील्ड के नहीं है, उन्हें हम लोग एक पीडीएफ देंगे जिसमें लिखा होगा, बताया गया होगा कि बच्चे को कैसे बताते हैं कि ये लॉफुल है ये लॉफुल एक्ट है, ये आपके साथ गलत हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, इस सारे चीज को आपको बताया जाएगा, आप उसका हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। दूसरी चीज है कि हम लोग एक सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स भी शुरू कर रहे हैं। सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स इस मायने में कि आप लोग पढ़ रहे हैं और लेकिन बहुत सारे जो टॉपिक है वो क्लियर नहीं हो पा रहा है, और बहुत सारे टॉपिक हैं जो आप लॉक करने के बाद आप में वो चीज़ें अपने से डेवलप होती हैं, तो हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स आपको पढ़ाएंगे और वो सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स आपको प्रोवाइड किया जाएगा। वो भी हम लोग बहुत जल्द लॉन्च करने वाले हैं। फिर मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वेबिनार पे, और आप लोग से उम्मीद करते हैं कि आप लोग इसे शेयर करें, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पार्टिसिपेट करें, ताकि आप लोगों की थिंकिंग हमारे पास पहुंचे और हम लोग सही निष्कर्ष पे जा पहुंचे। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to conclude up with these lines. Every time you suffer, a new silence, a new victim is born. So speak up. And Defectogil is kind of a company which is working for you people. So firstly, I would like to thank Advocate Rajneesh for your precious time, Defectogil for organizing such a debate competition, and all my participants for your peaceful cooperation. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Devanshu. Thank you. Thank you.